Uh, my name is Rohit Pandre, and I am a volunteer of TISA organization, the Indian Stammering uh, Association, and I am here to ask you some questions related to stammering and asking for your opinion. So, my first question is, what do you think about stammering, and what could be the reason behind it?
So, according to me, stammering is a biopsychological condition. There are some biological and psychological factors behind it. Psychological anxiety is one of the main causes behind stammering, and I know this very well because both my parents are psychologists and they are working in this field for the past 20 years. So, stammering is nothing abnormal. It is just like any other developmental or what you can say cognitive difficulty, and there is nothing weird about it or there is nothing abnormal as such about it. I know people with stammering have to face a lot of stigma, they have to face ridicule from the people around them, but actually, it is not that abnormal. It is completely fine to stammer.
Uh, yes. So my next question is, what would be your reaction if someone from your family starts stammering? What would be your reaction, and how will you help them?
In that case, it will be important for me to understand that person. First of all, I will give him a patient ear and I will listen to what he is saying properly. Any person who is stammering actually needs a lot of empathy from the people around him. So I will try to empathize with him and I will never ridicule him just because that person is stammering. And I will try to get him proper help, some proper kind of guidance to help him reduce his stammering, and I will never ever ridicule him. So basically, if I ridicule him or if I just stigmatize that person, then he or she will lose his or her confidence, and that would be very bad. I won't let that happen.
Yes, thank you. Uh, when someone stutter, sorry, when someone stammers, how do you feel and why? Uh,
Well, when someone stammers, yes, initially I will be totally honest with you. Initially, you tend to feel slightly awkward, but once you get used to it, I don't think that is much of a problem. And since I'm aware of the problems that people who stabber actually face in the society, it doesn't make much of a difference for me that irrespective of whether a person stammers or not, what is important is the point that person is trying to make, that the point is more important, what he is speaking about is more important rather than his fluency.
yes, thank you. Uh, should stutterers marry and have children? Why?
Of course they should marry. There is no difference between a stutterer and a non-stutterer. They are just as human as any other person on this planet, and of course they should marry and they should have children. There is no reason that why they should not marry and have children. It's completely ridiculous. But definitely in our arranged marriage markets in India, stuttering definitely proves to be a big obstacle while
Uh,
finding potential brides and grooms.
yes, yes. So my next question is, if you have a business, would you like to hire a person who stammers? Why or why not?
Uh, Stammering won't matter to me much as long as it is a very communication oriented job. If if that person's job, if the person who stammers, that person's job is not does not require much of fluency or what you can say, it does not require a lot of communication or talking, then I will of course hire that person, because ultimately the skill of that person matters. The
Yes.
mastery of that person over his job matters. Whether he stammers or not is less important in that case. Only I would probably not hire a person who stammers only in case if a specific job requires fluency in language, or it requires talking for long times. Then perhaps I may think of not giving a job. But otherwise, in any other type of job, the stammering absolutely won't matter to me.
Y-
Only the person's skill will matter.
Yes. My next question is, if means in general we see means when a person get epileptic attack, or in the normal words, mirgi ka attack, uh, so people don't laugh at that time, but when someone stammers, people laugh. What would be the reason, and have you ever done this?
Uh, in case of an epileptic attack, whenever somebody gets an epileptic attack, people generally are afraid, and that's why they don't laugh, because there is, it actually is, and people also perceive an epileptic attack to be a serious medical condition. There could be a threat to that person's life. There is some many a times permanent brain damage is associated with epileptic fits. So hence the general reaction is of fear when somebody has an epileptic fit. Whereas in case when a person stammers, the general reaction is not that of fear. So the people don't fear that, okay, this is a serious medical condition, and that's why perhaps people laugh uh, when somebody stammers, and they don't laugh when somebody has an epileptic fit. But I have actually seen people laughing at a person who has had an epileptic fit. There are some people who are so unempathetic that they laugh even at people who are having epileptic fits, and I have seen it personally.
Yes. So, do you have any question related to stammering?
Apart from stammering, one thing which I can never comprehend as a non-stammerer is, how does a stammerer feel, or how does a person who stutters feel when somebody ridicules him? That should be a very bad feeling. I mean, I can empathize with that person, but I can never feel that level of sadness, or that level of shame, or what you can say, the guilt associated with stammering. So I think that is a serious issue.
Yes, yes. Have you ever seen any person who is a stammerer, and he is at a big post, and what can be the reason?
Yes, I have seen few people who stammer and still they are at a top position. And the only reason behind they going at their respective top positions is their skill. Because they have merit, because they have skill. And apart from stammering, they have no problem, or no, what you can say, they have no problem or no difficulty in communicating what they want to communicate. So they definitely can take themselves. So even a person who stammers can definitely take himself or herself to the top on the basis of his skills, on the basis of his merit, on the basis of his talent and his performance. So why not? Because apart from the fact that a person stammers, there is no difference between any other person and a stammerer.
Yes, thank you. I uh, I stammer in a few lines in this interview. Did you have any problem in understanding me?
No, no, not at all. I did not have any problem in understanding what you were saying and what you were asking. So there was no problem at all.
Uh, Thank you for answering this question. Lastly, I only wanted to ask, what is your opinion to all the PWS, means the person who stammers? Your message to them, any short message.
Well, I would like to tell them that just because you stammer, it doesn't mean that you are less than anyone else. You should not feel shameful or guilty just because you stammer, because you didn't choose stammering by your own will. That is a biopsychological uh, fact. So that is a biopsychological thing basically, and you didn't have any control over it. So you need not feel guilt, shame, or you should not feel bad about it. And you should never consider yourselves to be less than anyone else. You should always try to increase your confidence, try to build up your skills, and you should show the people who ridicule you that you are the best and you can also reach the heights where all other people can reach.
Uh, Thank you for giving your precious time to me. Uh, Thank you.
You're most welcome.